And now, your First Alert 5 weather.
Hey everybody, so I showed this right off the top of the show, but I do want to go ahead and show it again. The wind reports, like what have we seen out there? Why are we weather alert? What are we dealing with? Well, first of all, Breckenridge up top on peak 8. We've got 103 mile per hour gusts that were kicked up earlier this morning. Cheyenne Mountain, if you've noticed our on-air signal, if you're watching us on cable or a different platform online, you've noticed Channel 5's on-air signals had a problem. We had a 75 mile per hour gust up there on the summit of Cheyenne Mountain. It's messed with some power cables, but the utility company's on it. We're on it here. We had Berthoud Pass out west of Denver at 91 mile per hour gusts. Loveland Pass 80 mile per hour. And then the Springs Airport, we nearly hit 70 out at the airport in Aguilar, south of Trinidad, or south of Walsenburg on the way to Trinidad, had a 72 mile per hour gust. So we were worried about semi-truck tip overs. Haven't really heard of much of that yet. There was one earlier way south, but definitely strong enough to do it because our westerly winds are still coming in from the northwest, anywhere from 50 to 70 miles per hour on the high end. The strongest have been over 7,000 feet, but on Highway 50 and into the foothills, it's been pretty rough outside. There's also a very potent cold front coming in from the north, but it's funny, if you look at our cameras, it looks kind of nice on the camera because the wind doesn't seem to be bumping these around too much. But you get out there, you catch those 40 mile per hour gusts. Well, that definitely feels a little rough outside. High wind warnings extend all the way down from the Sangre de Cristos up into Wyoming, Nebraska, Wyoming, all the way back over to Kansas. And for good reason, the gusts today have ranged locally, again, up to 70 miles per hour up on Cheyenne Mountain. And then even over towards Manitou, there was a gust near like 61 miles per hour earlier today. Here's the current gust. Walsenburg is definitely kicking out some of the strongest wind, even more so than Levita and Levita Pass. La Junta, Lyman, we've got that north wind trying to dump some exceptionally cold air back into the state. In fact, at the very top of the show, Denver was 40 degrees. Colorado Springs is 70, so it was 30 degrees cooler up in Denver than it was here in Colorado Springs. That cold air is kind of getting washed out across the plains, but I think tonight we will really see that temperature drop. So even accounting for that cool air, Colorado Springs will get pretty cold tonight. 40s by 9 o'clock, 30s at midnight, whereas Pueblo, it's going to take a little longer to jump back to the 30s. But I think overnight, wind chills could drop back into the 20s and teens because this wind will stay pretty strong overnight. Now, the models nailed it. They knew we would have north winds coming in, fighting that westerly Chinook wind through the afternoon. So the speeds going into 3 o'clock, coming out of the west and northwest are still anywhere from like 30 to at times 60 miles per hour. But the winds from Lyman east do relax a little bit. By 6 o'clock, not much change. Still that dominant west to northwest wind, 30 to 40 miles per hour. A lot of 50s in there. And the gusts will turn more northerly tonight, ushering in some pretty cold air. Now, our red flag warnings are in effect well through the end of the day. And before we go, I do have to do a real quick look at our Super 7 day. You're going to be in the 50s with a lot of wind over the next few days. One of our biggest stories is going to be the wind into the foothills, and Pueblo's forecast will have more of it coming up.